Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for joining me on another story time here on The Last of Us. Today's story is an article featured on NPR News. The editor, Adam Frank. Today's story, Why Video Games Matter. Everything is in Adam's words. Human beings are storytellers. This basic, constant instinct is evident throughout history, from creation narratives told around the night's fire, to Greek playwrights, to the first novels, to the flickering images of early motion pictures. What has changed, though, is how we tell stories. Each of our technologies, from the printing press to celluloid film, has opened up revolutionary new possibilities that have fundamentally altered the way stories can be told. That revolutionary role of technology is at work again right now, and it's why we should be paying attention to video games. Yes, video games. To convince you of this claim, I would like to present my Exhibit A for Why Video Games Matter, a truly remarkable piece of work called The Last of Us. But let's get a few things out of the way first. I'm relatively new to gaming, having begun just 5 years ago. That is when I finally relented and bought my then 15-year-old son a PS3. So if you are a longtime gamer, you will likely find these musings old news. Feel free to complain in the comments. The point is that, for many folks, video game still doesn't conjure up anything considered worthwhile. For them, it's all mindless first-person shooters and endless virtual carnage. So if you think video games, then I just want to take a few minutes of your time. One last thing, there are spoilers up ahead, big ones. I am basically going to tell you how the story of The Last of Us ends to illustrate why video games can be so revolutionary. If you want to play the game at some point, you might want to stop right here.
Please don't. Oh no. Sarah. Move your hands, baby. I know, baby, I know. God. Listen to me, I know this hurts, baby. You're gonna be okay, baby. Stay with me. All right, I'm gonna pick you up. I know, baby, I know it hurts. Come on, baby, please. I know, baby, I know. Sarah. Baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. Come on. No. No. No, no, no. Please. 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 Please don't do this. Please.
So what's the big deal? The Last of Us belongs to a time-honored story genre. It's a post-apocalyptic narrative. The story begins in the present with the outbreak of a pandemic that destroys the minds of the infected, turning them into violent zombies. We then jump ahead to 20 years later, after the weight of the pandemic has left the nation in ruins. Just a handful of cities are left maintaining protected quarantine zones. These are run by a military, all that's left of the government, that has imposed a much-hated martial law. Yes, it sounds familiar, and I am sure you think you've seen and heard it all before. After all, when it comes to the zombie apocalypse, there's the film 28 Days Later, the book and movie World War Z, and, of course, the much-discussed graphic novel and TV show The Walking Dead. So as I said, what's the big deal? Because The Last of Us is a video game. It can do something utterly remarkable that other storytelling forms can't. The brilliance of this game is the way it takes the tropes of the standard post-apocalyptic narrative and both unpacks them in new ways and hijacks them for its own ends. The story of The Last of Us is the journey, both real and metaphorical, of Joel and Ellie. Joel is a weary but survival-hardened 49-year-old black market smuggler. We first met him in our present as the chaos of the infection is just starting. The game begins with his daughter dying in his arms after being shot by a soldier. Ellie is a teenage girl, born after the infection has destroyed society, who ends up placed in Joel's charge. Her recently discovered immunity to the infection offers a last hope that a vaccine might still be possible. Joel and his partner in crime, Tess, are given the task of getting Ellie across the nation's broken landscape to the last laboratory of the Fireflies, a group that opposes martial law and still believes a cure is possible. After Tess dies at the beginning of their journey to the Firefly lab, the main arc of the narrative begins, following Joel as he comes to terms with the presence of this girl, so much like his daughter, in his life.
No. No, no, no.
What happens now?
What are you doing, Tess?
Oh, God. Maybe they had a map or something to tell us where they were going.
How far are we gonna take
As
this?
far as it needs to go. Where was this lab of theirs?
Oh, she never said. She only mentioned that it was someplace out west.
What are we doing here? This is not us.
What do you know about us? About me?
I know that you are smarter than this.
Really? Guess what? We're shitty people, Joel. It's been that way for a long time.
No, we are survivors.
This is our chance.
It is over, Tess! Now, we tried. Let's just go home.
I'm not going anywhere. This is my last stop.
What?
Our luck had to run out sooner or later.
You going on?
No, don't! Don't touch me.
Holy shit. She's infected.
Joel,
Let me see it.
I didn't mean for this.
Show it to me. Oh, Christ.
Oops, right? Give me your arm. This was 3 weeks. I was bitten an hour ago, and it's already worse. This is fucking real, Joel. You've got to get this girl to Tommy's. He used to run with this crew. He'll know where to go.
No. That was your crusade. I am not doing that.
Yes, you are. Look. There's enough here that you have to feel some sort of obligation to me, so you get her to Tommy's. They're here.
Damn it.
I can buy you some time, but you have to run.
You want us to just leave you here?
Yes.
There is no way that...
I will not turn into one of those things. Come on. Make this easy for me.
I can find...
No, just go! Just fucking go.
Ellie,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this.
get a move on.
Using that relationship's evolution to animate the actual cross-country trek from Boston to Salt Lake City allows The Last of Us to do something with the classic post-apocalyptic narrative that other stories haven't. While there are a lot of battles with zombies and humans alike, it's the emotional tone of the game that stands out. The Last of Us, more than anything else, is overwhelmingly sad. Like Cormac McCarthy's The Road, which the game is often compared to, the world of The Last of Us seems irreparably broken. Over and over again, in subtle ways only a game can allow, we are forced to face this fog of grief. A penetrating book or movie would have its own language for the revealing that sadness. But what The Last of Us does is exploit the mechanics of gaming in a way that makes us explore that emotional landscape firsthand. Many games ask you to find and collect stuff as you progress through the story, money, new weapons, etc. But in The Last of Us, the breakdown of society means you have to scavenge. But it also means you spend a lot of time moving through empty neighborhoods and empty houses. You wander through bedrooms and living rooms full of the things people have left. These familiar yet fallen spaces are rendered with a beauty that becomes transportive. The spare chords of Gustavo Santaola's score also holds the game's somber tone. He was also a composer who did the haunting music for Brokeback Mountain. Thus, along with the usual gameplay, which can be pretty violent and scary, there also comes moments that are remarkable and unexpected meditation on loss at scales that we usually cannot touch. But the most stunning feature of this game is its ending. As the game progresses, Ellie becomes a full-fledged partner in the battle for survival. For one whole segment, the player controls Ellie after Joel is almost killed. As the story unfolds, Joel slowly seems to find a place for his grief. His bond with Ellie seems to bring a kind of awakening and peace to this man who has done terrible things. Finally finding the Fireflies, it seems that yes, Ellie does hold the key to a cure. Perhaps there can be redemption for humanity. But then, we discover that the price for extracting this cure is Ellie's death. It's here that the usual tropes should kick in. At first, Joel rejects Ellie's fate and fights desperately to take her back from the Fireflies. As we navigate through the final battle, we are shown in various ways that there is really no choice. The tragedy of Ellie's death is the only means to saving the rest of us. And we also know, having spent so much time with Ellie, that more than anyone else, she would have understood and been willing to make this sacrifice. Thus, we expect that ending, and we expect Joel to finally understand too.
Is this really all they had to worry about? Boys, movies, deciding which shirt goes with which skirt. It's bizarre.
Get up. We're leaving. Come on.
And if I say no?
Do you even realize what your life means? Huh? Running off like that, putting yourself at risk? It's pretty goddamn stupid.
Well, I guess we're both disappointed with each other then.
What do you want from me?
Admit that you wanted to get rid of me the whole time.
Tommy knows this area.
Oh,
better
fuck
than...
that.
Well, I'm sorry. I trust him better than I trust myself.
Stop with the bullshit. What are you so afraid of? That I'm gonna end up like Sam? I can't get infected. I can take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
Well, we seem to be doing all right so far.
And now you'll be doing even better with Tommy.
I'm not her, you know.
What?
Maria told me about Sarah.
Ellie?
And
You are treading on some mighty thin ice here.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I have lost people too.
You have no idea what loss is.
Everyone I have cared for has either died or left me. Everyone fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I would be safer with someone else, because the truth is I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad. And we are going our separate ways.
Get it together. We're not alone.
I got two walking in.
There's more inside already.
Instead, the game makes us kill the doctors. In the harrowing crescendo, this character, who we thought was a hero, making us, as players, the heroes too, turns out to be a monster. The game forces us to become the agent through which Joel violently destroys the only hope left for this world. It's in this way that The Last of Us illustrates something truly radical that's inherent to the technologies of video game storytelling. The game convinces us that, as players, Joel's story is our story. Instead, we find that we never really understood this man. We never understood the toll his survival had taken on him. We could not see how deeply his grief had destroyed his humanity. As I played through these last few moments, I was stunned. For all the books and movies and TV shows and plays that I have seen, here was something truly new, truly novel. I was being shown something that only recently became possible. Now, I am not so much of a fanboy to miss the fact that The Last of Us still lives in an often male-dominated video game universe, replete with the usual virtual mayhem, and there's enough of this mayhem to keep The Last of Us from truly being a portal to a bright new world where everyone games in the same way that everyone watches TV. But by brilliantly co-opting the new mechanics of video game storytelling for its own ends, The Last of Us does illuminate the contours of what that world may actually look like. Adam Frank is a co-founder of the 13.7 blog, also an astrophysicist professor at the University of Rochester, a book author and a self-described evangelist of science. You can keep up with Adam with what he has to say over on his Facebook page or on Twitter at AdamFrank4. I hope you guys enjoyed today's story time here on The Last of Us. If you did, be sure to share with your friends, sound off below, and also be sure to subscribe. Thank you. Have a good day.
The number of confirmed deaths has passed 200. The governor has called a state of emergency.
There are hundreds and hundreds of bodies lining the streets.
Panic spread worldwide after a leaked report from the World Health Organization showed that the latest vaccination tests have failed.
With the bureaucrats out of power, we can finally take the necessary steps.
Los Angeles is now the latest city to be placed under martial law. All residents are required to report to their designated quarantine. Riots have continued for a third consecutive day, and winter rations are at an all-time low.
A group calling themselves the Fireflies have claimed responsibility for both attacks.
Their public charter calls for the return of all branches of government.
Demonstrations broke out following the execution of 6 more alleged Fireflies.
You can still rise with us. Remember, when you're lost in the darkness, look for the light. Believe in the Fireflies.